My name is Clara Whitmore. I'm 31 years old, and the night my relationship ended didn't start with yelling. It didn't start with a fight or slammed doors or some dramatic confession. It started at 11:43 p.m. on a Thursday, with my phone lighting up beside me in the dark. I was already in bed, scrolling absently through emails I'd flagged earlier, work things I pretended I'd handle in the morning. The apartment was quiet in that late-night way that makes everything feel heavier, like your thoughts echo louder when nothing else is moving. Then my phone vibrated again, and again, and again. A wall of messages, all from Evan, my boyfriend of 3 years. I can't do this anymore. Your refusal to commit has broken me. I'm at Memorial Hospital. I'm having a breakdown. This is your fault, Clara. I needed you to choose me. I needed you to propose. I sat up so fast the sheets tangled around my legs. My chest tightened, not with anger, but with something worse. Fear. Guilt. That sick, sinking realization that maybe I had misjudged everything. We'd been together 3 years, living together for 1. We had talked about marriage, recently, honestly. He wanted a ring by our anniversary. I wanted to wait until my promotion went through. 6 months, maybe a year. Normal conversations. Or so I thought. But a mental health crisis? Because of me? I didn't even change clothes properly. Just shoved my feet into yesterday's flats, grabbed my keys, and drove like I didn't care if I made it home. The ER doors slid open at 12:17 a.m. I was breathless by the time I reached the desk. My boyfriend, Evan Parker, he was brought in tonight. He's having a mental health emergency. The nurse typed, paused, typed again. She frowned. I'm sorry, ma'am. We don't have anyone by that name. My mouth went dry. Could he be under a different intake? He's 32, brown hair, about 6 feet. She checked again, then called someone over. Still nothing. No admissions matching that description tonight. I called Evan, straight to voicemail. Texted him. No reply. I stood there, arms wrapped around myself, feeling stupid for shaking. Outside in the parking lot, I sat in my car with the engine running, staring at the hospital doors like they might open and prove me wrong. Then I remembered something small, something he had insisted on last year. We share locations. For safety, he'd said, in case anything ever happens. My hands were trembling when I opened the app. His dot appeared immediately. Not at Memorial, not even close. 47 miles away. At a place called Grandview Resort and Spa. I stared at the screen for a full 10 minutes, not crying, not screaming, just staring. And then something else slid into place, quietly. Earlier that week, Evan had mentioned his ex, Lena, casually, like it meant nothing. She's taking PTO, he'd said she needed a reset. Lena, who'd suddenly been back in his life. Lena, who texted him good morning every day. Lena, who he said was just a friend now. I drove home, didn't sleep. At 6:02 a.m., I did something I'd never done before. I opened his laptop. He'd never changed the password. Never thought he needed to. The booking confirmation was right there. 2 adults, 1 king bed, spa package included. Booked under Lena Morales. That was the moment something in me hardened, not into rage, into clarity. He hadn't just cheated. He lied about a mental health crisis, used guilt like a weapon, tried to corner me into commitment while lying beside someone else. I could have confronted him then. Instead, I closed the laptop, and I made a plan. I called in sick to work, stopped at a florist, bought 24 red roses, the expensive kind. Then I made one more call. Hi, Mrs. Parker, this is Clara. Yes, Evan's girlfriend. Pause. I'm worried about him. He had a really hard night. I thought maybe if you and Mr. Parker came by tomorrow afternoon, we could talk. Help him feel supported. I hung up smiling. Saturday morning, I drove to the resort. And when I walked into that lobby, smelling like money and fake serenity, I was holding those roses like I still believed in us. That belief lasted exactly 30 seconds. Because at the infinity pool, under a blue sky I suddenly hated, Evan was laughing, and Lena was straddling him. I stood there longer than I should have, Not because I was frozen, but because some part of me wanted to see how far they'd go if they thought no one was watching. Evan's hands were on Lena's waist. Familiar, casual, like they'd done this 100 times. She laughed, tipped her head back, the sun catching on the sunglasses pushed into her hair. She looked relaxed, at home, like this wasn't a stolen weekend, but something she felt entitled to. I didn't scream, didn't throw the roses, didn't march over and make a scene. I lifted my phone and took 3 photos, clear ones. Then I turned around and walked out. The receptionist smiled at me as I passed, probably assuming I was heading to surprise someone I loved. I nodded back like nothing in my world had just collapsed. The drive home felt unreal, like I was floating above myself, watching someone else grip the steering wheel too tightly. By the time I reached the apartment, I wasn't shaking anymore. I put the roses in a vase, center of the dining table, straightened the placemats, wiped a non-existent smudge off the counter. At 2 p.m. sharp, Evan's parents arrived. "Where's Evan?" his mother Diane asked, scanning the apartment. "Good question," I said calmly. "He should be home soon." We made small talk. Coffee, weather, work. His father, Mark, checked his watch every few minutes. At 2:47 p.m., I heard the key in the lock. Evan walked in first, sun-kissed, relaxed, wearing a hoodie I'd bought him last winter. Lena followed, dragging a weekend bag. They both froze. "Mom? Dad?" Evan said. "What are you doing here?" Diane stood slowly. "Clara called us. Said you had a mental health crisis." Evan's face drained of color. Lena took a step back. "And you are?" Mark asked her. "I'm Lena, from work." "The ex-girlfriend," I added gently, "the one he's been reconnecting with." Silence dropped like a weight. Evan opened his mouth, closed it, then tried again. "Clara, I can explain. Like you explained being in the hospital Thursday night?" I pulled out my phone and handed it to Diane. She read the text, line by line. Her face went red, then pale. "You told her you were in the hospital," she whispered. "Mom." "While you were at a resort?" Mark asked, voice dangerously calm. Lena shifted. "I think I should go." "No," Mark said. "Sit down." She did. I showed them the photos. These were taken an hour ago, while I was buying flowers to apologize for causing his breakdown. Diane covered her mouth. Mark's jaw tightened. "It's not what it looks like," Evan said desperately. "Clara and I were having problems. She wouldn't commit." "And that justifies lying about a psychiatric emergency?" Diane snapped. "You were never going to propose," Evan shouted. 3 years, Clara. 3 years." Lena nodded eagerly. "He deserves someone who chooses him." Evan turned to her sharply. "Lena, you said you wanted a future," she insisted. He hesitated, just for a second, and that was enough. "I said I wanted fun," he said quietly. "No pressure." Her face collapsed. I laughed. Not loud, not cruel, just surprised. "So you blew up our relationship," I said, "for a man who thought you were a weekend distraction." Mark stood. "Pack your things. You're coming home." "I'm 32, Evan snapped. "And you're lying," Mark said. "Pack your things." Evan looked at me, eyes glassy. "Please, we can talk." "We could have talked Thursday," I said. "You chose manipulation." While he packed, Diane cornered Lena. "How long?" she asked. 2 months. Mark exhaled slowly, like he was holding himself back. "She told me they were basically broken up," Lena protested. "Emotionally unavailable," I repeated. Funny, he scheduled monthly relationship check-ins. Evan came out with suitcases. "Where am I supposed to go?" he asked. "Home," Diane said firmly, "until you figure out what's wrong with you." He turned on me. "You did this to humiliate me." "No," I said. "I wanted honesty." He exploded. "You're boring, Clara. You plan everything. You save receipts. Lena makes me feel alive." Lena beamed until Evan added, "Just not long term." The realization hit her like a slap. I grabbed a beer from the fridge and leaned against the counter. This was better than therapy. Mark escorted them out. Diane mouthed, "I'm sorry," as she followed. When the door closed, the apartment felt eerily quiet. I sat at the table. The roses stared back at me. Then I noticed something on the floor. Evan's journal. He'd left it behind. I shouldn't have opened it. I did anyway. The entries went back months. Complaints about me not proposing. Lists of other men. Plans. One line from 3 weeks ago made my stomach turn. If he doesn't propose by Christmas, I'll make it happen. He'll step up once there's a reason. I took photos of every page. Evidence. Sunday was quiet. Too quiet. Monday morning, my phone exploded. Evan had posted stories. When you give years to someone who won't commit. Mental health matters. Leaving toxicity behind. There was even a photo of his hand with a bandage. I knew it was fake, because at 5 a.m. he'd come by thinking I was asleep. The Ring camera caught him applying it. By noon, messages poured in. Some friends blamed me. Others sent screenshots of Lena at a club Saturday night with another man. Caption, drama-free zone. Then Diane called. He's telling people you have explicit photos and you're threatening him. I laughed. Once. Called my lawyer friend. Then I posted one thing. Just the hospital text. Caption, Thursday, 11:43 p.m. versus Friday. GPS location. Hospitals don't have infinity pools. His call came immediately. Take it down. No. I'll call the police. Cool. I'll show them your journal. Silence. You read that? You left it here. He started crying. Angry tears. You ruined everything. No, I said. You did. He hung up. And that's when I realized this wasn't over. Not even close. Tuesday morning started with a call from HR. Not my HR department. His, which made it even more absurd. Clara, the woman said carefully, we received a complaint alleging you're creating a hostile work environment for one of our employees. I actually checked the call log to make sure this wasn't a prank. He doesn't work at my company, I said, and I don't work at his. Yes, she replied, that's what confused us. I explained briefly. The hospital lie, the affair, the social media smear. She sighed audibly. We'll close this immediately. I hung up and stared at the wall, suddenly exhausted in a way sleep couldn't fix. By Wednesday, Evan changed tactics. He stopped posting. Instead, he sent Lena. A message from her popped up around noon. He's not doing well, Clara. He's been prescribed antidepressants. This whole thing traumatized him. I didn't answer for a long time. Then I typed, maybe therapy will help him understand that faking hospital stays is manipulation. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Wow, you're heartless. Also ask him why he told Lena he was on birth control when he wasn't. Check page 47. No response. But later that night, Lena posted a story. When you realize someone isn't who you thought, distance is necessary. Thursday morning, 6:04 a.m. My doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Definitely not Mark. Evan's father stood there looking 10 years older than the last time I'd seen him. Can we talk? He asked quietly. I let him in, made coffee. We sat at the table beneath the dried roses I hadn't yet thrown away. I need to know, he said. Was he always like this? I considered lying, softening it, but he deserved the truth. The signs were there, I admitted. The guilt trips, the silence when things didn't go his way, the little lies. I told myself it was normal. He nodded slowly. We enabled him, he said, always excusing it. He's sensitive. He's passionate. You loved him, I said. That's not failure. He hugged me, awkward, brief, and left. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. Friday, I took the day off. Music on, windows open. I was scrubbing the apartment like I could erase him with bleach and repetition. At 2:11 p.m., my doorbell rang again. This time, it was Lena, with a black eye. I know this is insane, she said quickly, but I need to tell you something. Against my better judgment, I let her in. Nice shiner, I said. She winced. His dad showed up at my gym. I blinked, then laughed. Legend. She swallowed. Clara, he's planning something. He's been drunk calling me, saying he'll make you pay. He mentioned your lease, said he has copies of documents. He also said he still has a key. My stomach dropped. I changed the locks. He said he made a copy 3 weeks ago. when you were asleep. 3 weeks ago, the night he'd been unusually affectionate. I checked my security app immediately. Nothing yet. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because he's lying about both of us, she said. Telling people you forced him, that I pursued him. That's not true. I know. I have texts. He's trying to destroy anyone who doesn't play along. I changed the locks again that afternoon. Electronic this time, no keys. Saturday morning, I woke up to an email from my landlord. We've received concerning information about unauthorized occupants and potential lease violations. I called him immediately. Evan contacted you, I said. Yes, Garrett replied. He claims he's been living there for 2 years and you illegally evicted him. He's never been on the lease. He moved in a year ago and left voluntarily. He provided documents showing mail delivery, partial rent payments. I pulled up Venmo. There they were. Monthly transfers, $50. Labeled utilities, and my transfers to him, $400. Labeled shopping. He paid $50 while I covered everything else, I said. He's trying to fabricate tenancy. Garrett sighed. Send me everything. I spent the day compiling evidence, bank records, texts, the lease. That's when I noticed something else. Mail addressed to Evan, credit cards, subscriptions, parking tickets. He'd been building a paper trail. Sunday night, 10:58 p.m. Motion alert. My phone buzzed. I opened the camera feed. Evan stood at my door with a man I didn't recognize. The man had tools. I called 911 immediately. They're trying to break into my apartment. I watched as the electronic lock held. The police arrived in 8 minutes. The stranger ran. Evan stayed. I live here, he told the officers. I just got locked out. Ex-boyfriend, I corrected through the speaker. He moved out a week ago. I showed them everything. The lease, the texts, the hospital lie, the ring footage. They arrested him for attempted breaking and entering. He spent the night in jail. Monday morning, Diane called me crying. We're bailing him out, she said. We're getting him help. Tuesday, I got served. He was suing me. Illegal eviction, emotional distress, defamation, stolen property, $50,000. My lawyer laughed when he read it. This is toilet paper. Court was set for 3 weeks out. Those weeks were hell. Evan went scorched earth online. Daily posts about surviving narcissistic abuse. A blog. TikToks. Hashtags. The comments didn't go his way. People remembered the hospital post. The arrest. The break-in. Lena even commented once, "This is fiction. You pursued me while living with her. I have receipts." He deleted the video. Court day arrived. I wore my best suit. He wore a neck brace. A neck brace. The judge listened patiently, then asked one question. Did you fake a psychiatric emergency? Yes. Did you attempt to break into her apartment after moving out? Yes. Case dismissed. Outside, Evan screamed, "You ruined my life!" You did that yourself, I said calmly. 6 weeks later, he's back with his parents. Restraining order from Lena. Fired from work. Therapy. Court mandated. Me? I'm okay. Promoted. Peaceful. Dating someone new. I dried the roses and framed them. A reminder. Trust your gut. The strange thing about chaos is that when it finally stops, the silence feels louder than anything that came before it. The morning after the court hearing, I woke up before my alarm, staring at the ceiling, waiting for the familiar rush of anxiety to hit. It didn't. No racing thoughts, no urge to check my phone, no dread curling in my stomach, just quiet. For the first time in months, my apartment felt like mine again. I made coffee slowly, opened the windows, let the morning air in without worrying someone would show up uninvited, unannounced, demanding space they no longer had any right to. My phone buzzed once. A text from my lawyer. He hasn't filed anything else. Judge's warning scared him. I exhaled. That should have been the end of it, but Evan wasn't someone who faded quietly. For the next 2 weeks, I watched from a distance as his online presence unraveled. He tried to pivot his story, deleted the blog, rebranded his posts, started talking vaguely about growth and being misunderstood. The internet, unfortunately for him, has an excellent memory. Screenshots circulated, clips resurfaced. Someone stitched together his hospital claim with the police report timestamp. The comments turned brutal. Didn't you fake being hospitalized? Why were you arrested outside her apartment? Is this the same guy who lied about a mental breakdown? He disabled comments, then deleted his accounts entirely. A mutual acquaintance told me he'd lost his job. Not officially fired, but let go after missing too many days and bringing unwanted attention to the company. I felt nothing. No triumph. No satisfaction. Just a dull confirmation that consequences eventually find everyone. One afternoon, about a month later, I ran into Diane at the grocery store. She looked thinner, tired. She hesitated before approaching me. "I won't keep you," she said quickly. "I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. Again." "How is he?" I asked, because I'm not a monster. She sighed. Angry, confused, convinced the world betrayed him. "That sounds familiar." She nodded sadly. "We're getting him real help this time. No excuses." "I hope it works," I said, and meant it. That night, I threw away the last box of his things I'd kept out of inertia. Old chargers, a hoodie I didn't want anymore, a mug that said, "World's Okayest Boyfriend." I laughed when I saw it. Then I dropped it into the trash. 2 days later, my phone buzzed again. A Venmo request from Evan. $3,000. Note: therapy cost you caused. I stared at it for a long moment. Then I declined it. Sent him $0.01 instead. Note: for the hospital visit that never happened. He blocked me immediately. I didn't feel petty. I felt finished. Life, in the weeks after, unfolded quietly. Work improved, not because anything magical happened, but because I wasn't spending half my energy managing someone else's emotions. I got promoted. Apparently, not having daily emotional emergencies makes you better at your job. Who knew? I started dating again. Not desperately, not urgently, just openly. I met Noah at a bookstore. He reached for the same novel I was holding and joked that it was fate, then immediately apologized for calling it fate. I liked that. On our third date, I told him everything. The hospital lie, the resort, the break-in, the lawsuit. I waited for the flinch. He didn't flinch. He just said, "That's not drama. That's a warning sign you listened to." Green flag. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about those 3 years. Not with regret, with curiosity. I wonder how many moments I brushed off because they were easier to explain away than confront. The guilt, the silence, the way love always seemed conditional. My therapist, yes, I got one too, says it doesn't matter. What matters is that I recognized disrespect and chose myself. The roses are still hanging in my bathroom, dried, framed, a reminder that love doesn't demand proof through suffering. And anyone who fakes a psychiatric emergency to control you isn't in love. They're in need of power. And the moment you stop giving it to them, they unravel.